Hello everybody, I got a message today. This person, hi Michael, he said for 24 hours, we'll read the message in a moment, but I've done it even better, Michael, just make a little video about it. He says, hey, you guys love all your information, thank you. Comes to us, we learn it, we're just trying to show everybody and help everybody as best we can under YouTube's conditions, because that's what it is. But we have a family here, Michael, on YouTube. So anyway, thank you for your information. You've been sharing. Thank you. Hey, I'm wondering if we could try a little experiment when you're talking about the other countries like Russia and Lithuania. Just for one day, 24 hours, instead of saying the country's name, just say the pharaohs in Lithuania, or the pharaohs in Russia, or the pharaohs in Korea, or the pharaohs in the United States. You'll start finding that once you see the code of the pharaohs, that they've owned everything, and all the secret societies don't know everything, but they know just enough to keep you away from their bosses who pay them so to be careful, not just to go ahead and try it. The pharaohs from Japan, that what happened to him, Trump is a pharaoh, Biden's a pharaoh, Putin's a pharaoh. Love you, got to run. Try it please. Walk like an Egyptian, question mark. Ha ha. Like an Egyptian. So obviously my answer is we've even got the Faroe Islands above the UK, and yes, the eagles are like the phoenixes. They're the same as the phoenix. It's just it's been turned into an eagle. Hugs. The Holy Roman Empire with Egypt. Yeah, it's the same thing. Anyway, thanks for that message, Michael. Hopefully above here you can see what Alex is saying. But I mean, she's showing this picture because the top of his head is so weird. So in a moment, I'm just going to zoom in. You can read that if you can. And there you go. Because nothing's real. And everything is always CGI'd, edited, or whatever they do. And however they make it with these actors. Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about this. Horses were used to pull railways, coal mines, whatever, as early as the 16th century. The earliest recorded example was 1515. Almost all the mines built in the 16th and 17th century used horse-drawn railways as their only mode of transport. And I thought, I never heard that before. I have never really... obviously, we've heard of Shire horses. They were doing the farming. And then, obviously, I know in Hungerford, sometimes, even today... Well, I was going to stop back there 1 second. Even today, a horse-drawn... So, horses pulled the barges. Yeah, I get that. Today, this is about this bridge. It was a little bit early this morning. I just wanted to watch something when I had my breakfast. I always like to, when I'm eating, I like to watch something and then I turn it off usually. But what came on today was manufacturing from the past. And they were showing this. So horses pulling coal carts on tracks. And they said this is why there was loads of tracks everywhere. And in the end, they had to change them because they were different to the train tracks. That's quite incredible in itself. Anyway, and they're bringing up this bridge. Now, the bridge was built about 300 years ago. And, yeah, they're just talking about... I tried to turn it up. It was no good me turning the video up. But basically, they also said the same thing as in that caption, that... in the 15th century it started, but it really kicked in the 16th and 17th century, that they were making these bridges and tracks for that, not the people, but to do the coal. And I thought, wow. Anyway, we have the Daddy Longlegs in Brighton. What was that? But anyway, they're talking about this bridge, and yeah, I think I was nodding off a couple of times. Like, I woke up, started to go, oh, and then I wasn't sure if I was, because I was listening, and I wasn't sure if I, every now and again, yeah. Anyway, maybe it's just best to capture little bits of it, so at least you can see what it's about. This is older than the bridges in Brighton that we did the other day, and they look like viaducts. I missed this bit, but in this film they show you how it's sort of, they've not welded it, but how they've got it into the ground. Again, if it's 300 years ago, which means it'd be the 1700s, how did they do all this? How did they do it all? It's quite incredible. But anyway, they're very much talking about this bridge, and I was just like, I have never heard of horses pulling the carts. And that means the horses have to probably be on the track. And not just that, like, I've just never heard of these things before. It just boggles my mind that as we're going along, I mean, this was on the television. These people, maybe they got paid well for saying it, I don't know. But they explain what this bridge is about. This bridge has to have these holes in it, and this guy says that bridge has been there for 300 years and it'll be there for another 300 years. I keep going back to the horses pulling the carts. So the tracks were put down not for the people, the tracks were put down for coal. So obviously they turn them into trains later on. Anyway, there's a picture of I'm going to show you some pictures of those in a minute. And they said, is it Newcastle? Was it Durham or Newcastle? I can't remember which town they use now. They said that town, because of this, was minted, had lots of money. Obviously it doesn't now. So when you come across these bridges, you're never going to know how old. I mean, they're saying that this one is 300 years old. And yeah, and it says that a remarkable structure, this arch was built for a wagon way to a colliery, which was then it caught fire. I didn't read the next bit, sorry, I got stuck on the first bit a bit. Always fire has to ruin everything, doesn't it? Fire ruins everything. Notice on this bridge that some of the bricks were black. Anyway, he's just, I mean, I'm just a bit shocked. I mean, we're going back to Mary Elizabeth I now, in the 1500s, that they had wagons with horses on. I mean, Mickey felt, looking at the wagons, they weren't going to last very long. But that's the only one that they're showing. But it just makes everything older, doesn't it? Puts everything further back in time. And that's what I'm watching for. Anyway, these are there's the carriage. That's what they have there in like a museum. Yeah. Coal wagon. And then, as we well know, we've seen many pictures of horses pulling trams, carts, buses, you name it, wagons, there you go. So it was like that, but with the coal instead. I suppose if the horse was trotting or galloping, you could go quite fast along there then. Are they donkeys up there? You know, mules. Anyway, I tried as best as possible to just find as many pictures as possible because it was all new to me. So basically when they started the train journeys, they were just using the tracks with the coal. Did they have a horse? I don't know. We can't substantiate any of this. That's what they're saying now. And when you think about it, how did they do it? I mean, that one, let's just stop that one for a moment. It says coal mining in North Staffordshire. And before the canals and railways, coal was transported by road and was therefore mainly for local use. Well, that's not what the others say. But anyway, the coal delivery from horse-driven two-wheeled carts through to four-wheeled drays could be seen in the collection. Could be seen in the collieries or in the street. A popular scene at the time was fully decorated horse walking along the street to deliver coal to people's front doors. So that one isn't quite what we're talking about. So let's just move on. And again, the horses are bringing the coal. And then this was a list I found of all the coal with the horses. This is it. This is what they showed me. Some of them aren't even country. There's two at the bottom. There's one Switzerland, two Australia, Fiji, that one's England, Switzerland. And it's got the times. Obviously in that article it said 15 into 16th, 17th century. So it's a little bit of a shame that none of these match up to that. They've got to have this 1800 when they're probably 17 or 1600. I was just taking a few pictures because I wanted it to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but so I just kept doing it till it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make sure that you did see all the pictures with the dates where they said that these coal-driven were coming. Oh, actually, we're coming up to that wording again. I'm going to when I see it again because that explains a bit more as well. Where are you? Yeah, so there you go. East Frisian Islands there. Ireland, South Australia, that's the end of that one. That one's Wales, Romania. That one was, the one in Romania wasn't going very long. And you've got Norway, France, Germany. Right, I'm just going to stop it on this one here. It says horses were used to pull railways and coal mines. I've read you this bit at the beginning, but I'll do it again. As early as from the 16th century, the earliest recorded example is 1515. Almost all the mines built in the 16th and 17th century used horse-drawn railways as their only mode of transport. So they were saying that they used horses for coal, but then they were obviously using them for transport as well. So it's both. But let's just put the video on. Yeah. Anyway, we're just looking at the dates. I'm reading that again. 1515 into 16th and 17th century. 1515, where that is, King Henry still could have been in, and Elizabeth's coming. Or I can't remember what year she went in. She went in quite early in the 1500s. Or was it Henry? And she was the 1600s. Or maybe that was it. So that's before. Let's just go and see the dates they're giving for Henry VIII. There you go, 1509 to 1547 was Henry VIII, and then Elizabeth I came in after that. So she was 1547 to nearly the 1600s. So there you go. So before Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, we had horse-drawn coal carts. Sorry, get it right. He's just coming to power. And you've got those things. I was heading back to him with cameras and everything else, even the cars in the 1700s. It makes such sense that they have lied about that time, and then if they were more advanced then it would fit into why we've got all the things we've got. But now we realise, I mean, I look at some houses and I go to Mickey or whoever I'm with, look, they're Tudor houses. You know, when we're being told that they're Victorian houses, they're Tudor houses, you can just tell. But again, I've just gave you the list here. Just wanted to make sure everybody did see. And obviously, some of them don't have finish dates, so they're still going. obviously they're not being, it's Romania there, New Zealand. They're obviously not being pulled by horses anymore. But I just thought that was very interesting. Who knew that they were using horses to pull the coal on tracks? And in fact, they only made the bridges and the tracks for the horses to pull the coal. So how much were they using? How much injury going on? Anyway, and then he moved on to the tube. It's called some tube. I've got to wait for it to come up. Sorry about that. So we're talking yet again about bricks. It's just the different types of buildings. And then we come to this tube, and what it is it's been built very high, and it's all to do with the light. I mean, you're only going to catch a train. I don't understand why, you know, this place here has to be so high. So they're talking a bit about the history, about the wonderful, you have to take my word for it, but the wonderful architecture to put this building up. And you're like, right. Although they do usually get rid of stations that come from the past. They don't want you to see them or be in them. So at least this one is still here and you can go in it. So that's a good thing. I don't know why they built so much and got rid of so much. Obviously they're talking about the decor there in the buildings at this time. This is the train station now. But I'd say I couldn't turn the volume up. It was just too loud. But I found it a little bit interesting because they're going to show you in a minute the size of the room. That's where I want to get to. The tubes always, I just can't. There's just something weird about the tubes. And then you've got the pneumatic trains. And it's a warren down there, and you're like, oh, when you're travelling through, you think, how many tunnels? There it is. It's called, I didn't see it. The name comes up. It's called something Wood. Obviously, it's in London because it's a tube. Look at the size of that building. Why would you make something that big? Well, the guy said, well, there's steel. That's a steel frame, and those are glazed tiles. Yeah. But such a big room. Look at that. Yeah, lots of people say, well, with the giants. They're saying they built it like that due to the light and everything. But I mean, and that, I wish I'd kept that. But that guy made that in the 1800s. And look at all the tube stations there. They were already there. They didn't build any of them. How could you build all that? You'd have it done in stages. You wouldn't have it all done. So I thought that was very interesting. But I might just go back and see if I can see a date on it. Yeah. Obviously, they're just talking about the amazing architecture and stuff like that. And the bricks. I mean, it almost looks like a summer, doesn't it? Was it the one? I'm not sure now because I've watched it a few times. I'm annoyed that I didn't pick up that. It would have been much better if we'd had them talking. There you go. It's just this underground. Look at the size of it. It was a big station. Great Wood. No, what is it? I can't see it. We'll see it in a minute. It comes up on one of the names. I have seen it. So there, Oakwood. It was Oakwood Tube Station, but with a great big building on the top. I just thought that was fascinating and thought I'd just stick that in to show you. But the one with the horses pulling the coal, and they were on tracks, and they did all that. They built all the tracks for the horses to go on. It still does not add up to me, but I just thought I'd show you the information. And yeah, obviously this is past manufacturing. And yeah, I've made a few videos out of their stuff. I